Quotes from The Meaning of Life, The Return to Eden, by unknown author. A mind burdened by fear, prejudice, bias, or hatred cannot discern truth, because it is not looking for truth, it is looking for validation. If you hate something, you will unconsciously seek out information that justifies that hatred. If you fear something, you will shape reality in a way that supports that fear. If you already believe something to be true, you will filter out anything that contradicts it, no matter how compelling the evidence. This is why most people never find truth, because they are not actually searching for it. They are searching for confirmation of what they already believe. Those who are truly connected to God no longer feel the need to force their beliefs onto others. They have outgrown the need to change, control, or convert. Their deep awareness has taught them that every soul has its own journey, its own path to walk. Compassion replaces superiority, and patience replaces urgency. The weak find comfort in religion, the wise find deception, and the powerful find opportunity. God isn't all-knowing, because if He was, there'd be no purpose to existence, no discovery, no growth, no experience. Instead, God is an explorer, a creator, a force of pure curiosity and compassion that wanted to see what would happen if reality was set into motion. And that's exactly what He did. We are not here to bow down to a deity, nor to follow rigid rules imposed by ancient texts. Think about it. If you had a child, would you want them to spend their entire life worshiping you, living only to serve your desires? What kind of parent would that be? Wanting a God who embodies only good is like walking into an art museum and hoping every piece of artwork is painted with nothing but pure white paint. Such a place would feel sterile, lifeless, and incomplete. Judgment can feel like knowledge, but in reality, it often signals the end of curiosity, the death of wisdom. If God truly exists, would He judge, or would He simply understand? Would an all-knowing being condemn you for your mistakes, or would He see the full picture, the experiences that shaped you, the pain that led you here? The law of hypocrisy states that whatever a person fixates on, whether through hatred, judgment, or obsession, will find its way into their life if they do not let go of it or accept. People assume they can judge, mock, or condemn others without consequence. But reality doesn't work that way. The more a person hates or forcefully rejects something, the more it embeds itself into their world. It may manifest externally through the people and circumstances they attract. And if not externally, it will take root within them, causing them to become the very thing they despised. If a person hates dishonesty, they will be surrounded by liars or become one themselves. If they despise control, they will either be controlled or become a control freak. If they loathe arrogance, they will attract it into their life, either in others or within themselves. Why? Because hate locks a person into a vibrational contract with the thing they despise. Even if they think they are rejecting it, their fixation keeps drawing it into their reality. Hate and resentment create the illusion of control, while secretly trapping you in a loop of suffering. This is why the wisest individuals do not waste time condemning others. They do not let their energy become entangled in cycles of judgment. They do not wish suffering upon those they dislike, because they understand that to do so is to invite it into their own life. The law of hypocrisy is not punishment. It is simply the system at work, ensuring that every person experiences the reality they create through their own focus. If someone wishes for others to be punished or seeks justice not out of genuine care, but out of anger, resentment, or self-righteousness, the system responds with precision. The energy of punishment they project outward will return, not always as direct retribution, but in a form that cuts the deepest. If someone judges others and rallies people to join in that judgment, not because they genuinely care about justice, but because they want to appear righteous or superior, the judgment they cast will mirror back, forcing them to face their imperfections in a public and humbling way. If a person tortures an animal for fun, they are not breaking a divine rule. They are releasing their intention into the universe. And that intention or energy does not disappear. It comes back to them, maybe not as direct torture, but in a way that carries the same essence. They may experience betrayal, loss, helplessness, or deep suffering in another form. The system will always return what is put out, because that is how balance is maintained. If a person looks down upon someone with a disability, mocks them, or harbors hate toward them, the energy they release will return to them in a form that humbles them. They may find themselves facing a disability of their own, or witnessing someone they love deeply experience such a challenge. The system ensures that the energy of judgment and ridicule is balanced, by placing the person in a situation where they must confront the very thing they despised. Similarly, if a person hates someone for a specific character trait, whether it's arrogance, weakness, or any other quality, the system will reflect that energy back. They may find themselves embodying that very trait or seeing it manifest in someone close to them, forcing them to confront their own prejudices. This is not punishment, but balance, a way for the system to ensure that every individual learns the lessons they need through experience. When someone steals from another, it is not necessarily because they are inherently evil, but because they are blind to the interconnectedness of all beings, and unaware that their actions will inevitably bring consequences back to them. In their ignorance, they believe they are gaining something from the outside world, but in reality, they are only stealing from themselves. Even seemingly good actions, when performed with the expectation of reward, whether it's praise, validation, or a sense of superiority, are rooted in ignorance. Such actions are disingenuous, and in return they invite gifts, favors, and relationships with strings attached, perpetuating a cycle of insincerity from others. Actions performed out of fear of punishment or a desperate need to earn a master's approval are not acts of true righteousness. A slave who obeys because they fear the lash or who seeks favor to avoid suffering is not acting from a place of sincerity, but from survival. Their compliance is coerced, not chosen. In such a system, the slave is never given the freedom to act from genuine love, faith, or goodwill, only from fear of damnation or the hope of reward. God doesn't need to step in and enforce morality because the system already does it flawlessly. If you wish to live among men of honor, then cultivate honor in yourself. Give others the opportunities to grow rather than seek their downfall. Offer respect, not because they have earned it, but because respect creates a world where you too will be respected. See the potential in others, but do not let hope blind you to reality. Kindness should uplift, not deceive. Let men walk their own paths. Do not force them. Do not burden them. Do not seek to control them. If your goal is a life of peace, lying and cheating do not align, not because they are evil, but because they are ineffective. Morality is simply the path of least resistance toward your desired life experience. Some have heard that idolatry is bad, but how many actually understand why? What if it's as reckless as leaving the front door of your home wide open every night before going to bed? No one would do that knowingly, yet idolatry creates the same vulnerability, except instead of thieves, what enters is manipulation, deception, and blind servitude. Most people understand that hate can trap them in cycles of suffering, but fewer realize that idolization and desperate desire are just as dangerous. Just as hate creates blind rage, idolatry creates blind devotion. Both distort perception, and both leave a person exposed. Idolization creates a hidden weakness. If a person idolizes beauty, they will be blind to a beautiful person's deception. If they desperately crave wealth, they will overlook the warning signs of financial scams. If a person idolizes a lifestyle of having many friends, they will lower their standards and allow people into their life who take advantage of them or lead them down a bad path. If they worship someone's status, whether a celebrity, businessman, or religious figure, they will be blind to their flaws until it's too late, or they might even excuse their wrongdoings. Instead of hating liars, value honesty without emotional resentment. Instead of idolizing wealth, strive for abundance without blind devotion. Instead of worshiping leadership, appreciate good leaders while questioning their flaws. Once you neutralize hate and idolization, you free yourself from their control. Have you ever looked back at a moment in your life and thought, how did that even happen? Maybe you were thinking about someone you hadn't spoken to in years, only for them to suddenly call you. Or you met someone at exactly the right moment, and it changed the trajectory of your entire life. The word coincidence is often used as a placeholder for things we do not yet understand. It is a convenient way to dismiss patterns, synchronicities, and events that seem too precise to be random. But have you ever noticed that the more intelligent or aware someone becomes, the less they use that word? In fact, they might not even believe such a thing exists. That's not to say that people who believe in coincidences are unintelligent. Rather, highly observant minds tend to see beyond the surface. They recognize that every effect has a cause, even if that cause isn't immediately obvious. Imagine telling a master chess player that their opponent's every move was just a coincidence. They would laugh, because they understand the deeper mechanics at play, the patterns, strategies, and chain reactions that determine every outcome. Reality works the same way. What most people call coincidences are actually unseen patterns, probabilities aligning, and responses to conscious and unconscious intentions. Most people fear death because they believe it is a permanent ending. But according to quantum physics, energy can never be destroyed, it can only change form. This means your loved ones never truly disappear. Their energy continues to exist, just in a different form. If you detach from the illusion of physical identity, you will recognize their presence in new ways. Just like water can turn into steam or ice, a consciousness can shift into a new expression but never disappear. This explains why. When someone leaves your life, a new person with similar traits often appears. When a loved one dies, you can still feel their essence in different forms. Reality hates empty space. Whenever someone leaves your life, whether by moving away, losing contact, or passing away, the energetic void they leave behind naturally gets filled. Imagine you have a sibling who moves away for several years. If you pay close attention, you'll notice that another person, or even multiple people, begin filling the same role. It could be a new friend, a co-worker, or even an unexpected mentor who carries the same personality traits, mannerisms, or emotional role in your life. This is not random. It is energy reorganizing itself to maintain balance.